Hi, I'm Isaac, a security engineer at Paramify. In this video, I'll walk you through the Paramify platform and show you how we aim to make risk management accessible for everyone. To do this, we'll be using the perspective of the NIST Risk Management Framework, or RMF. This is a standard approach used by federal agencies across the US government and many companies to perform cybersecurity risk management. The risk management framework has 7 steps. The first step is prepare, which means that you get your organization ready and you have the support necessary to undergo risk management. Talking to tools like Paramify that help you perform risk management is a great step in the right direction for preparing. In Paramify, we can support you as you undergo risk management. The second step in risk management is categorize. To categorize, Paramify has built in the NIST 860 Information Types and Security Impact Levels Assessment. This helps you look at the different information that may be stored in your system and the confidentiality, integrity, or availability levels that are associated with that kind of information. As you go through and think about the data that is in your system and the security that might be required to protect it, you'll be able to create objectives for confidentiality, integrity, and availability, which can either be low, moderate, or high. These will help you determine your overall security impact level. Paramify has supported many clients at all impact levels, including FedRAMP Low, moderate, and high, and digital identity levels required for Department of Defense classified systems. Once you've categorized the impact level that you're at, the next step is to select the required controls. Paramify helps you select the controls out of catalogs such as NIST 853 or NIST 800-171 or 172. We can show you exactly which controls are required at your impact levels. Let's say you're doing FedRAMP moderate. You would need to implement AC1 or Access Control 1, AC2, and AC2 parts 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, and 9. But you wouldn't have to implement AC2 Part 11 because that's only required for FedRAMP High or DoD IL5 and 6 systems. I know that can get pretty complicated, but Paramify helps you understand exactly what controls are needed. And if you have additional controls that you want to add to your base set, or if you need to remove some based on your unique situation, Paramify can support that. Once you have all your controls selected, the next step is to implement those controls. This is where Paramify is very helpful. Instead of thinking about all 400 selected controls that must be applicable to your system, Paramify starts by looking broadly at what you're doing to manage risk. Paramify organizes all the risks to your product, including facilities risk, InfoSec risk, organizational risk, and more. And we ask you simple questions about what you're using to manage these risks at your organization. For example, where are you hosting your data? Here at Paramify, we're hosted in AWS GovCloud. So we would select AWS GovCloud, which Paramify knows is a FedRAMP High authorized component, as our data center change management process. But this gets more deep than just looking at where you're hosted. We'll also ask you questions about incident response, anti-malware, your identity management, about your device endpoint security, cloud security posture management, all kinds of things that you likely are doing to help manage risk to your system. From there, Paramify will help you build solution capabilities that describe the implementation you have in place. This includes looking at the way these tools work together in your organization. We can determine the shared responsibility between the capability provider who you're inheriting from and what your responsibility is. In this case, we have a shared responsibility between AWS, Okta, and our identity management admin. Paramify helps you stay organized between all the different roles at your organization and the shared responsibility between yourself and the third parties that you are using to help reduce risk. Once you've created these solution capabilities, Paramify helps you automatically map them across all the different control sets you have. Whether you're doing NIST Revision 4, Revision 5, FedRAMP 20X, Paramify helps you intelligently map across all those different controls. So you just focus on changing things in one place, and Paramify worries about updating all those controls. This helps you get to a point where you have implemented your risk solutions and you can see how those implemented solution capabilities are fulfilling all of the control requirements. In this case, we have 837 controls, but we don't have to worry about each individual one because we're managing at one higher abstraction level. Additionally, to show that we are implementing them accurately, we get to the next step, which is assess. Assessment is asking whether your controls are working as intended. For this, we can upload evidence. Evidence in Paramify helps show that your controls are operating as intended. Let's look at this example. In this example, we have a script that is reaching into our AWS environment and pulling information to show that our controls are working as intended. And these evidence files come in and are validated immediately by Paramify and given a passing, failing, or partial status based on their validation. All of this is open source and available to anyone so that your auditors and your consultants can understand exactly where Paramify is arriving at these values. This evidence can then be associated with solution capabilities or control requirements so that you can manage evidence in one place and map it across many different controls. Further assessment includes having your auditor come in and give an independent opinion of your controls. In order to do this, you can invite your auditor into a scoped level of access within Paramify called an Audit Assessment. From here, the auditor is able to view all the requirements for your program and look at the evidence that you've associated. The auditor can also leave comments and opinions about their thoughts on your approach. This can be used for internal audits, for external audits, or for your formal 3PAO audit for FedRAMP. Once the audit is complete, you can even see a dashboard of the results, or you can generate reports. The next step would be to authorize. Once your security is at a place where it's been implemented and it's been assessed, you're ready to generate your ATO documentation. To support that, Paramify is able to create many deliverables, including several of the FedRAMP appendices and attachments. You can see here any of these icons with the robot, Paramify is able to automatically generate documentation for based on data you've put into Paramify. Paramify can track version-controlled history of your SSP and appendices that are able to be generated in Word, OSCAL, and PDF format. Here's an example of a FedRAMP SSP high that was generated using Paramify. As you can see, the data is complete based on the information that has been put into the system, including things like the boundary, the components that are used, and any changes that have been taken place since the last version. This helps you have consistent documentation that's accurate to the state of your system. Paramify can also create several of the FedRAMP appendices, such as Appendix Q and others, based on the data that you've put in. Once you have those authorization materials and you receive your authorization to operate, the last step in the risk management process is monitoring. To help support monitoring, Paramify can track issues or POA&Ms that have come up. Issues or POA&Ms can come from a variety of sources, including configuration issues, control issues, documentation issues, or vulnerabilities. To support these, Paramify has created automation to help you track, manage, and report on your issues. What you'll see is a status of the critical, high, moderate, and low issues that you have currently available, that are due soon, or that are past due, as well as a history of anything that has been closed out. Additionally, you can import issues from your vulnerability scanners or from other reports. To do this, we'll look at a vulnerability assessment. In this case, we're using Nessus to perform a monthly scan of our RDS database. We can create a monthly cycle for this, and each month as the scans are taking place, we can see what new issues have been discovered. In this case, it looks like our Apache server has an information disclosure issue that is rated at a moderate level. Based on the date that it was found in September, we would be able to set the POA&M to finish or be closed and due by December 28th. If things come up where we need to adjust that issue, whether changing the risk level or in some way showing a compensating control, we are able to show what we call, a little bit tongue-in-cheek, an excuse. This may be a false positive, an operational requirement, a risk adjustment, or a vendor dependency, something that we can't fix yet. As we set that excuse, we're able to have approval from others in the organization and ultimately accept it, and then update the issues that are reflected. Additionally, Paramify deduplicates issues so that you are only focused on the issues that really matter. Paramify can also sync issues with tools like Jira or Slack to help your teams track these issues and stay on top of continuous monitoring. Ultimately, you're able to show a trend to your agencies or other customers that show the issues that you've opened and closed over time, the risk level that is associated with each of them, and where those issues are coming from. This helps you with the final step of the risk management process, which is to monitor your system and maintain ongoing authorization. In summary, Paramify helps with the complete NIST risk management process by helping you perform categorization, helping you select your controls, helping you implement your controls, and associating evidence, performing assessment to validate that the controls are working as intended, and then generating the authorization documents, and with the continuous monitoring piece to maintain your ongoing authorization. Paramify is a structured but flexible platform for performing risk management. In Paramify, you can organize your organization and invite as many users. We never charge for headcount. And you can set different roles such as admin, assessor, collaborator, or editor, so your team can have the level of access that makes sense. Additionally, you can set up your own authentication using things like Okta, SAML, Google, Microsoft, or email, so that you can have a login method and single sign-on approach that works for your organization. Further, you can create API keys, which can help you read things like issues, solution capabilities, evidence, and more, all through a tool or custom workflow that you've developed. There's comprehensive API documentation to help you understand how to pull data and change data in Paramify programmatically. Additionally, we have integrations with tools like Slack and Jira so that you can sync issue status, or you can have notifications come to Slack or email based on activities like changes in issues or changes in controls. Further, Paramify has an MCP server, so all the data that lives in here can be made accessible to AI workflows that you've created, which can help you create intelligent, time-saving processes around your risk management approach. Overall, Paramify is created to be a structured but flexible platform for risk management and GRC professionals. We see ourselves as an Iron Man suit, a way to help a GRC professional accomplish more faster and more effectively than they could ever before. I know that's a lot. I hope that this has been a helpful walkthrough of the Paramify platform. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to our team. We'd be more than happy to show you in more detail or answer any questions you have about how Paramify could help make risk management accessible for you.